Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today's video is the perfect makeup tag. This tag was created by Morgan Turner and Patty Alonso on YouTube. I will have both of their original videos listed down below, and I've seen it going around. I love a good tag video. I actually am filming for the first time since coming back from Las Vegas. By the time you see this video, my Las Vegas vlogs will already be live, so you can check those out. But it's been over a week since I've actually filmed a formal video. So I'm trying to get it back under wraps by filming the perfect makeup tag. If you are new here, hello, welcome. My name is Kylie. I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking. I love makeup. I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so for this tag, there are 10 questions, and it's all about like your perfect makeup. So question number 1 is, which primer creates the perfect base? Now, I think one thing that's really important to note when talking about these makeup products is that everybody's skin tone is different, their skin texture is different. I have very dry skin. So my preferences in base makeup is going to be very different from someone who has oily skin or combination skin. So for me, I need something that's really going to leave my skin hydrated so that makeup will apply flawlessly. So for this category, I picked my Glow Recipe Niacinamide Dewdrops. I've been raving about these. I found them, I want to say like toward the end of 2020. Maybe I picked it up during like a VIB sale. Kate the Great was talking about them. And I was like, okay, let me get these. They're supposed to be brightening. I don't know if I really noticed anything brightening, but this is like, I don't use this as skincare. I use it as a primer, and it is like a large drink of water for my skin. So really, really love this one. It's definitely great at hydrating my dry skin, and that's what I look for in a base. Question number 2 is, which foundation has the perfect finish? I look for something that is more on the medium coverage. I don't want it matte, but I don't want to be like super glossy. I just kind of want to have like a luminous, healthy finish, and I want it to look like my skin, but better. So the foundation that does that for me is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I'm in the shade 4.5, but I feel like I probably could have even gone down and gotten a lighter shade, but I love this stuff. It's very expensive. You can't tell because it was just laying on its side, but I'm like halfway done with it. I'm down to where the wording is, the Luminous Silk. I love this foundation because it's super comfortable on the skin. It doesn't make my skin feel tight or dry. It gives me like I wish I could say I'm wearing it. I am not wearing it today. I'm wearing a different foundation, but it gives me like a nice, comfortable finish on the skin where my skin looks healthy, but there's a little bit of glow. It's not too matte, but I do get a good like medium buildable coverage with this one. Love this foundation. It's pricey, but it's worth it in my opinion. Question number 3 is, which concealer has the perfect coverage? Now, I do have to say, some of these questions I knew right off the bat what I was going to say. Others I had to ponder on. And then you get a question like this. I've tried several concealers, but by no means have I tried like a ton of concealers. You know, like I'm someone who usually has 1, maybe 2 concealers in their collection at a time. And then like I use it up until it's gone. So out of the concealers that I have tried, one that gives me the perfect amount of coverage is the one that's currently in my collection, the Pat McGrath, what is this called? Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. I do not like anything that is like thick, cakey, tart-shaped tape. Absolutely not. Too thick, too cakey. NARS Radiant Creamy, too thick underneath the eyes. I need something that has more of like a lighter liquidy feel, but also provides the coverage because I do have like dark circles under my eyes. So this one really does it for me. It's not super thick, but it's pigmented. It gives me good coverage, but it doesn't accentuate the eczema or fine lines or dryness underneath my eyes. Now, this is a pricey concealer. Don't get me wrong. So the other concealer, I'll pop a picture up on the screen that I wanted to mention, is by Milani. It's the Conceal and Perfect Concealer. I actually had that in my collection before the Pat McGrath, and I feel like they're very similar. The Milani is more of a lightweight, liquidier is that a word? Liquidier consistency, but it still provides great coverage. It doesn't settle into my fine lines and creases any more than any other concealer, and it just makes my under eyes look nice and healthy. So I feel like you can't go wrong with either one of those, especially if you do struggle with dry under eyes. Number 4 is where I am 100% not an expert, because number 4 is which powder gives you the perfect blur. I don't set my whole face. I never have. I don't set my whole face. I only set underneath my eyes, and because of that, I've only tried a handful of powders. But out of the powders that I've tried, the one that makes my under eyes look the best, and I didn't really want to say this, but it's my Hourglass. This is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And the reason why I said I didn't want to say this is I know that Hourglass has a history of not being inclusive in the beauty community, not catering to anyone with deeper skin tones, just fair, light, perhaps tan, and that's it. So a lot of people have decided that they are no longer going to purchase from Hourglass. And fun fact, I never have purchased from Hourglass. Anything that I've ever received from them has been a gift, but this was a powder that I heard a ton of people rave about. I wanted to try it out. It was gifted to me, and I actually do really like the powder. If I said something different just to not mention Hourglass on my channel, then that wouldn't be a truthful answer. For me, out of the powders that I've tried, drugstore powders, Laura Mercier, the Hourglass Veil Powder is the one that sits most comfortably underneath my eyes. It's a very thin powder, but it definitely sets that concealer. It makes my under eyes look lifted and brighter and healthy, and it doesn't feel like very dry and tight. So I had to mention this in my powder category. But again, I am not an expert. Number 5 is which bronzer has the perfect undertone. Now for this one, I was like, I didn't really know what to say because I was trying to think about like the perfect undertone. Are we talking about a contour, a bronzer? What are we using it for? So I just went with my favorite bronzer in my collection at the moment. All of this is subject to change anytime my makeup collection grows, but my perfect bronzer at the moment is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronze Matte Bronzer in the shade Medium. I love this. It looks like it's going to be pretty deep on my skin, but it's not too deep. It's deep enough that I can get a nice healthy bronze. It makes the contours of my face stand out a little bit more, and I feel like, I don't know if it's the perfect undertone. I don't know what we're looking for in undertones, but for me, this has been like my go-to bronzer. It's large, it sits nice on the skin, and it's matte. Even though I have dry skin, I do want a bronzer that's matte. I spend so much time trying to make my skin look healthier, but when trying to create like definition and a shadow, I want something that's matte that's really gonna stand out. So I love this one. Again, she's a pretty penny, but I love her. Number 6, which blush has the perfect shade? This one was a little tricky for me because I've been into blush lately. My blush collection has expanded, but I do have 3 blushes picked out and narrowed down for you. One of them, it is an OG on YouTube. It is by Buxom Cosmetics, the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Seychelles. When I first looked at this, I thought that it was going to be like very light and that I was really going to need to build it up, but I don't find that to be the case. It's super pigmented. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there is a bit of a sheen. No chunks of glitter, no specks of glitter. It's just a sheen. So for someone like me with dry skin, I like to go in with the matte bronzer to create definition, but then to make my cheeks look like flushed and more lively. I just love this beautiful, it's like almost like a light mauve shade, but it has that healthy look where my cheeks just look flushed. So that is definitely a favorite of mine. I also really love my Melt Cosmetics Digital Dust Duo Blush in the shade Raw Honey. When I use this, I mix the two together. This gives me, again, another like mauve tone, but it's more on the cooler toned side. I just mix the two together. You can see there is a sheen here. So again, there's a pattern, the luminosity, the mauve shade, almost making my skin look naturally flushed. And then my most recent blush purchase is by Pat McGrath, and this is her Sublime Fetish Divine Blush, and I have the shade Nymphette. Now this one is lighter than the other two. The other two, they have like bam pigment right off the bat. This one, I do have to build it up. I've heard people say that these Pat McGrath blushes are super pigmented, but I myself haven't experienced that, at least not with this shade. I do have to build it up. It has a bit of luminosity, not as much as the other two. It's just not a flat matte, it's more of like a satin, I guess you could say. Again, no specks of glitter. It just glides on the skin beautifully and gives me like a nice pink flush. So, couldn't narrow it down, so we got 3 of them. Number 7, I knew this right away. Which highlighter has the perfect finish? I automatically knew that it was my Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade Fair. I love this highlighter. I am not someone who wants a subtle highlight, but I don't like glitter, I don't want it to be chunky, and I don't want to look like I have a stripe of highlighter on the face. So, the reason why I love this highlighter is because it's very pigmented and it's very icy looking, but when I put it on the skin, it melts in. You cannot see like a streak. It literally looks like my skin is glowing, but it's very bright. You can see it. I do have a nice highlight and it looks very dewy, but it looks like my skin. So if you're someone who just wants something subtle, like you want to look like maybe you put gloss on your cheek or something, this is not the one. It's super pigmented, but it's not glittery, it's not chunky, and it makes your skin look really healthy. Before I purchased this, my friend Smags kept wearing it, and every time I would say, oh my gosh, I love your highlighter, what is it? Natasha Denona. Oh my gosh, I love your highlighter, what is it? Natasha Denona. Literally every single time I asked her what her highlight was, sorry, I'm trying to move my feet around because I'm sitting on one of my feet and they're falling asleep. Anyway, it was always the Natasha Denona Super Glow, so she picked that up for me for my birthday, and it's definitely my favorite. Okay, so I have to say, number 8 was a little bit tricky. It was which lipstick has the perfect formula. Now, ironically enough, I'm talking about dry skin. I want luminosity. I want it to be healthy. I want it to be glowy. And with lipstick, I want it to be matte. I want it to stick to my lips. I want it to last through my coffee. I am a teacher. I do not have time to be pulling out my lipstick and trying to reapply it while I'm teaching these kids. Like, I need it to last all day, and I want it to really stay on the lips. So I do have a couple liquid lipstick formulas to share with you. The first being Kylie Cosmetics. I feel like this is an unpopular opinion. I really love her lipstick formula. Now this is the shade Bare in her Velvet liquid lipstick formula. I prefer her regular liquid lipsticks over the Velvets because the Velvet doesn't dry down completely and you do get a little bit of transfer. Whereas the matte lipsticks dry down completely, you don't get transfer, it's not drying or tight on the lips, it doesn't settle into fine lines like the Jaclyn Cosmetics. So I really do like her formula, but if you don't like liquid lipsticks, definitely try her Velvets. Those might be a little bit more comfortable for you. Another formula that I really enjoy is by Dose of Colors. I think they make a really great liquid lipstick as well. This one is in the shade Stone. It's more of a liquidy texture. It dries down. It's not tight on the lips. It definitely lasts all day. It doesn't smudge. It doesn't wear off. So again, a favorite. But for people who aren't liquid lipstick lovers, and I know that's not like the thing right now, I do have 2 like traditional lipstick formulas that I really love. One being by Dominique Cosmetics. So she came out with her, I guess it's just called a lipstick, Soft Focus Demi Matte Lipstick. This is in the shade Pretty Natural. Now the thing that I love about this lipstick, you can see my D and my O are missing. It said Dominique. I've been using it. The thing I love about this is it's very creamy. It glides on the lips smoothly. It doesn't like settle into fine lines. It doesn't create any crepiness. It doesn't give me that line in the lips, but it definitely is very long lasting. I'm going to get transfer when I'm eating and drinking and things like that, but it's long lasting and it's very comfortable on the lips, but it's still matte. It's still a matte lipstick. I'm not really, even though I'm wearing gloss today, I'm not really into the glosses. The other lipstick formula that I wanted to mention is by Lisa Eldridge. I don't know what these are called, but this is her Velvet Muse lipstick. This one, again, is matte. When you put it on, it feels matte, but it doesn't tug on my lips. It's not drying on the lips. It's very pigmented. It has long wear. Again, you're gonna have a little bit of transfer because it's a traditional bullet lipstick, but at the same time, it's long lasting, it's matte, but it's comfortable on the lips. Okay, now these last two were so tough. They were so tough. Number 9, which eyeshadow palette has the perfect shimmers? So for me, in a shimmer shade, what I look for is I want it to not have chunks of glitter, but I want it to still pack a punch. Like I want it to be noticeable and vibrant, but I don't want glitter, and I would like minimal fallout. So for me, the eyeshadow palette in my collection that packs a punch, that is very pigmented, that stands out, I don't get fallout, and I don't get chunks of glitter, it's my Sydney Grace Tiny Marbles. I've heard people rave about the Sydney Grace formula, but this was my first and my only Sydney Grace palette, and I love these shimmers. Firebutts is one of my all-time favorite shades. These shimmers are super pigmented, they pack a punch. I use Fix Plus with all of my shimmers, but I don't feel like I would need to. They're very vibrant, but there's no chunks of glitter, no specks of glitter. It is just the right amount, and I get very minimal fallout. So had to give it to Sydney Grace on that one. The next one was also difficult, and it is which palette has your perfect color story. Now I know I'm wearing a very bold, colorful eyeshadow look right now because I'm playing with a new palette. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone, but I'm a neutral girl at heart. I need my neutral shades. I need to be able to set my primer. I need to have an inner corner pop. And for right now, this could change. For right now, I have to say my Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette is the one that has the perfect color story for me. It's the palette that I took to Vegas. I have a wide variety of neutrals up here. I thought I just dug my finger into the purple. I can use vanilla cream to set my brow bone. These shimmers are spectacular. They are amazing quality. So I have great like day-to-day easy looks. But then if you want to get a little crazy, you do have 2 pops of color down here. So again, this could change. It was hard to pick just one. I also thought about including my Glam palette by Natasha Denona. Still a very good eyeshadow palette, but I just felt like that one was very neutral and didn't really have any pops, so that's why I chose Dominique over the Glam. But those two have a really great color story for the neutral lover in me. But that is going to wrap up this video. If you did enjoy it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If I seem a little off, for one, my daughter is sleeping in the next room, so I'm trying to talk a little bit quieter, but I'm also having a ton of allergy issues right now. I'm like very congested, very stuffed up, and my eyes have been watering nonstop. I've been sneezing, so if things are a little off, that is why. But I thought a tag video would be like a quick and easy one to film, trying to ease my way back into filming videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely make sure you're subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Bye.